ransom your life.
Terrorblade is fairly particular. Just like his Dota 1 counterpart, he's the only hero who leaves footsteps behind him when walking, which lasts for approximately 7 seconds. Both Terrorblade melee and range form, as well as his illusions, leave footsteps on the ground, but a Rubik who stole Metamorphosis does not. Terrorblade also leaves footsteps while invisible. It is important to know that these footsteps are visible not only to allies, but also to enemies under certain circumstances. As long as an enemy unit can see Terrorblade, they will also see the footsteps he creates. To illustrate how this mechanic works, Case A, Terrorblade runs and disappears into the fog of war. You catch up to him by blinking through trees. His footsteps can be seen leading to the last position you saw him before he ran into the fog of war, but then disappear, only to reappear when you catch sight of him again. Case B, Terrorblade runs away and uses Shadowblade to escape. His footsteps lead to the place where he used Shadowblade, but the trail does not further continue. Case C, Terrorblade runs away and uses Shadowblade to escape again, but after a few seconds you gain sight of him through dust or sentries. The trail goes until he goes invisible, then disappears and reappears again when you gain vision of him, just like in Case A. Just to be clear, as an enemy, when you get vision of Terrorblade, you do not suddenly see all the footsteps he left behind. If Terrorblade ganks you with a Shadowblade, you will not suddenly see the path he took to gank you when he goes out of invisibility. Same when Terrorblade just goes invisible, his previous footsteps will not suddenly disappear. Note that you and your allies will always see the footsteps, even if the enemies do not. Terrorblade's first skill is Reflection. Reflection does a lot of different things. It slows the affected unit's attack speed and movement speed by 60%, and it creates a phantom illusion of the target. A phantom illusion is a particular type of illusion. It is not possible to control it or even select it. It is untargetable, invincible, and ignores all CCs, spells, and even terrain. It moves at max move speed, which is 522 ms, and chases its target in a straight line under any condition, even if the unit goes invisible, into the fog of war, or TPs away. Remember that even if it keeps chasing an invisible unit, it will not be able to attack it without vision. It will only attack its own target, and as soon as the target dies, or after 5-second duration, it will disappear. Keep in mind that the Phantom Illusion is still an illusion, which means it carries all illusion properties even if impossible to select. Among others, this illusion has the same vision range and carry the same auras as its target. I will go into more details about illusion in Conjur Image. Reflection can target magic immune units, but going magic immune after being targeted does not dispel the slow nor prevent the illusion from hitting you. At the moment, there are two differences with Dota 1, which may be intended changes but are probably just bugs that will be fixed. In Dota 2, you're only able to target heroes or illusions when you should be able to target any non-magic immune units that include creeps, and Lincoln Sphere blocks reflection, which is not supposed to be the case. Terrorblade's second skill is Conjur Image, which simply creates an illusion of himself. If Terrorblade is under Metamorphosis when using Conjur Image, the illusion will be in range form and will stay that way even if Metamorphosis ends on the real Terrorblade. Remember that not everything works on illusions. Cleave, Bash, Lifesteal, and most unit attack modifiers, also known as orb effects, do not work regardless of the in-game visuals. Damage block items like Vanguard, magic resistance items like Cloak, raw damage, armor, or attack speed items with the exception of Yasha will also have no effect on illusions. Illusions carry auras like the original hero does, but most often do not benefit from it due to these restrictions. That being said, there's still quite a few things that illusions can work with. Stats increase, movement speed bonuses, critical strike, evasion, MKB's true strike, Gem's true sight, and Radiant's aura are all good to go. You can find all the passive which work or do not work with illusions for the interactions with reflection in my Steam guide, which I will link in the description below the video. Note that buying Diffusal Blade on Terrorblade might not be the best thing to do, as feedback only works on melee illusions and you probably want to spend most of your time in range form. Terrorblade's third skill is Metamorphosis. Terrorblade turns into range form with 550 range and a huge base damage boost. For those who didn't catch what I just said, the damage boost is considered to be base damage and not raw damage, which means illusions benefit from it. There isn't much else to say about Metamorphosis except that it has a huge cooldown and that you should use it carefully. And that unlike Dota 1, the spell has a transformation time in Dota 2 which allows you to dodge attacks and spells, just like Lone Druid. Metamorphosis also cannot be purged. Terrorblade's ultimate is Sunder. Terrorblade mini-stuns and swaps his HP percentage with his target, who can be an enemy, an ally, or even an illusion. Sunder fully goes through BKB and is considered to be HP removal type, which means it is not considered as damage. As a consequence, Sunder does not cancel healing salves or quality potions, but more importantly ignores items like Blade Mail or Ghost Scepter. Sunder has a minimum HP percentage threshold, meaning that regardless of Terrorblade or his target's initial HP, they will have at least 25, 20, or 15% of their max HP after Sunder. There are currently 3 big differences with Dota 1. First, Sunder is instant in Dota 2, whereas in Dota 1, we had a projectile flying between Terrorblade and his target before the HP swap was complete. Sunder is also fully blocked by Lincoln Sphere in Dota 2, and finally, and I'm almost sure that's a bug that will soon be fixed, Sunder can currently heal you under Ancient Apparition's Ice Blast.